Hi, we're doing another Meet the Horses video, and today we're going to do it with Claude. Oh, a bug just flew by his face. Good one. So I have my same list here of kind of questions, topics that we're going to talk about with Claude, and a little notes cheat sheet that I found in his folder. So, alright, are you ready to get started? Yeah? Okay. You have hair on your face. Can I fix it? No? Okay. Alright, so this is Claude. I did not name him Claude. He came with that name when he came to us. However, the owners he had before, so he was at CSU for a while, the owners he had before that, they called him de coeur, which is French for from the heart. So that was his name before he went to CSU. And my guess is when he came into CSU, the barn manager decided that that was too hard to say and spell. So they went with Claude, which is a French name too, but it also starts with a C and it's easier to say and spell. So that's probably why you got your name Claude, huh? Yeah. So his registered name is Coal Creek Cody, and I'll put that on the screen to you so you can see it. But that's his full registered name. He's a registered Morgan horse. A beautiful black color, huh buddy? That's probably where you got that name, Coal Creek Cody, because you're all black. So some nicknames we have for him. I like to call him Claude Monet, like the painter. I think it makes him seem fancy. I don't know if he likes it though. But we call him Claude, Claudius. I have a little student who calls him Claus, like Santa Claus, and I think that's adorable. Yeah, you like that nickname? Claus? Yeah, so cute. So those are some of his nicknames. He was born in 1991, so that means this year he's turning 29, or maybe he just turned 29. I'll have to go back and look when his birthday exactly is, but yeah, 29. So me and Claude are the same age. We were both born in 1991. Whoa, twinsies. His breed, like I said, he's a Morgan horse, so he's a registered Morgan horse, and he's a pretty classic looking Morgan horse. He's got the cressy neck and the body type of a Morgan, so yeah, it's pretty clear you were a Morgan, huh buddy? So his past careers and things he's done before. So before he came to CSU, he was kind of an all-around horse. He did driving, single and double driving, like driving a carriage or a cart, and he also did English and Western riding. He did a few lessons, I think, trail riding, dressage, a little bit of everything, it kind of sounds like. And then around 6 years ago, I think it was, so around 2014, he was donated to CSU with a bunch of other horses, and they all kind of went into different programs, and the program that Claude went into was the therapeutic riding program. So I got to work with Claude a lot there at CSU as a therapeutic riding horse. The program I worked for, Front Range Exceptional Equestrians, used him a lot while he was there at CSU, and he also got used by several other programs as well. And everyone loved him. Huh, buddy? So he was a therapy horse from around 2014 until last year, so 2019, so about 5 years of being a therapy horse. And so how we came to get him was at the end of last summer, I guess. CSU was talking about retiring Claude because he was getting old. He was doing fine. He had a little arthritis, but he was slowing down a little bit, and we wanted to give him a fair retirement so he could live out his days and just kind of relax and chill instead of working so hard. So they were looking for a place for him to go and just retire, basically. And our family had taken a couple therapy horses and retired them to our house, but we were pretty full up on horses, so my mom was convinced that we didn't have enough room for him, but we wore her down, basically. And so in October of last year, Claude came to live with us and retire. So he lives right now with two other retired therapy horses. He lives with Roy, who he knows from CSU. They were therapy horses together, and Roy retired first, and then Claude came last year, so they're buddies, old therapy buddies. And then he also lives with a mare, Otter, who was at CSU for a short time and did therapy. So they're kind of their own little herd together, huh? Yeah. Yeah, good boy. So his favorite thing to do when riding, he is retired, so he doesn't get ridden a lot. Occasionally I'll hop on him bareback and just walk him around. I don't do very much with him at all, but that's really very rare. He also does maybe once every other week of a lesson with a little kid who's little super light, and they just walk and maybe like a couple little steps of trotting, and that's all he does. So I would say that's his favorite thing, is when the little kids come and do one lesson every so often on him. I think he gets bored if he doesn't have anything to do, and if I just retired him and didn't ride him ever again, I think he would be a little offended. He's like, what did I do? We don't get to go on adventures. So he does have a little bit of a job, but it's based on how he's feeling, and if he wants to do it, I don't force him to do anything. So I think he likes the little kids the best, though. He's not as fond of when I get on and ride him around. Oh, buddy. Yeah. His favorite thing to do when he's not riding is probably eating. He loves his food, and he loves to steal other people's food. So he gets grain, and so do all those old horses in that pen with him. But he eats the fastest, so he'll finish his, and then he'll go see if Roy wants to share, which sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. But he's always looking for more food. Oh, buddy. He also likes to get turned out in the pasture with his friends. We did that the other day, and him and Roy and Otter were running around, and Claude was even cantering all over the pasture like a sprightly young man, so that was pretty fun. Oh, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. There's some construction noise. I apologize. So some of the things he likes are, he likes treats and horse cookies. He likes being groomed and itched and brushed. Some things he doesn't like, he's not a fan of you touching his face, as you can see. But that's mostly because he's losing his eyesight a little bit, so he's not quite sure where you are. He can just see that you're coming towards his face, so that's why he doesn't like you touching his face. Yeah, I know. Other things he doesn't like, he doesn't like my horse Izzy. They're so funny. They're kind of like siblings, and they just argue over the fence for no reason. They can totally leave the fence and not talk to each other. That's an option, but they just choose to pick at each other, which I think is hilarious. So he doesn't like her. Every time she comes up to the fence, he pins his ears at her and tells her to buzz off, and she never listens to you, does she? So rude. So rude. What else don't you like? Oh, he doesn't like when you even pretend like you're gonna put something in his mouth. When he first came here, it was right after he got one of his teeth removed because it was infected. So he came here and we had to clean out that little hole that was made because of the tooth was removed. And we had to do that every day, and he was not a fan. So ever since then, he's been a little wary of if you go to like pretend like you're gonna put something in his mouth, or Even sometimes when you give him treats, he's like, are you gonna stuff your hand in my mouth? I don't like that. So deworming will be an adventure this spring, won't it, buddy? Yeah, might have to wrestle him a little bit, but those are the things he doesn't like. His favorite treats are, what are they called? I think they're the company name, sorry, is Winnie's cookies. They're like round, like this big, and they're really soft and chewy, and those are his favorite cookies. He also likes the soft stud muffin cookies. He likes those too. But anything soft, he likes. He'll eat crunchy cookies too, but they're not his favorite. Probably because of his old teeth would be my guess. A fun or funny fact about Claude. A funny thing about Claude is he's very gassy, and every time he gets ridden, I mean, he's farting all over the place, and my students either think it's hilarious or they get so offended that he's farting in their presence. And I'm like, sorry, that's just Claude. He's just a gassy old man. It's not his fault. Oh, buddy, he thinks I'm gonna touch his face. Come here. I won't, I promise. So that's a funny thing about Claude that pretty much everyone knows about him, huh, buddy? It's not your fault. It's okay. You're cute. A short story or adventure. Since he's been here, we've had a pretty easy life. We haven't done a whole lot of adventuring per se. Maybe the adventure was when he was, right before he came here, he was at the CSU vet hospital to get his tooth removed. And that was an adventure, wasn't it, Claude? So we had to go, and we had to learn how to clean out his little socket that was there. And then we had to get him back on the trailer to come here. And I'm sure he was surprised when he got off the trailer here and found that he was not back at CSU where he thought he was going to go home. But he was at a new place, and that was exciting. And he was looking all over about what we had. It was kind of cold and snowy, so that was an adventure, huh, buddy? But you made it. You survived. Yeah. And then the last thing is my favorite thing about Claude. I would say my favorite thing about Claude is his work ethic, I guess it is, or maybe his try. So even in his little tiny lessons with this little kid, occasionally he tends to be kind of a spooky horse, and he's not so sure about new things. He gets big eyes and snorts at things that he thinks are scary. But when he's working, you can tell, like, if he gets scared of something during a lesson or whatever, you see him get scared, but you can also see him think through, like, no, I'm working, I need to not spook, I need to stay still, and I'll just deal with it. And he tries so hard to just be okay with everything when he's at work. And I think that is the best quality about him. It's because he's always looking out for his people, and he's like, okay, I have people with me, they'll protect me, and you can just see him thinking through the process of, I want to spook, but I'm not going to because I'm working. And it's really cute and adorable. Huh, buddy? You try so hard. It's so cute. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's all we have for Claude today. If you guys have any more questions about Claude, you can go ahead and leave them in the comments, and I'll see if I can answer them for you. But this is Claude, our handsome man, our newest addition to the herd. Alright, say bye, Claude. Bye, guys.